streaming at you digitally, but taped live at the Joke Joint Comedy Club in Lilydale, Minnesota, just 15 minutes out of downtown Minneapolis. The stand-up channel presents Uprising, dedicated to bring you the best comedians we can find. Tonight's comics are Robert Fones, Jeff Foser, and Tommy Ryman. Ladies and gentlemen, start screaming now for your host, Mr. Chris Maddock.
What a night! I was driving home with a friend from a show once. We had a long drive. He wanted cocaine. It's a long drive. I didn't blame him. We were at a gas station. We didn't have any cocaine. I offered to buy him a Red Bull. His answer was, "It's not the fucking same." Which I don't know. I think it might be. If you realize that they cost the same. You know? Like, you do $2.50 worth of cocaine. It's probably not going to do too much. However, you drink $50 worth of Red Bull. It'd probably work. I don't know. I worked at a bar because, I don't know, you need life experience to tell these jokes. I had a woman leave me a fake $10 bill for a tip recently. It was fake. It looked like a $10 bill. All right. What was it? A booklet. What did it say? No one's ever been wrong. Shout it out. Jesus, why is everyone right? Everyone knows like that. It's never Buddhists or anything. There's no, because Buddhists don't advertise. That's why. It's only the Christians who advertise. They're the ones with the bus benches, or the kids, you know, quit, you did the do, now do the pew. That's one I saw. Get the kids involved, you know. There's never a Buddhist on a billboard. Like, come on. Never a quit what you've been doing, start Hinduing. There's never any of that. Folks, I'm going to bring up your next comic. I've done a lot of shows with this guy, and let me tell you, he could suck the robe off the Statue of Liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robert Fones!
Hey, keep it going for Chris, everybody. Let him hear it, right? Oh, my God. I'm happy to be here, guys. I am. I'm happy. I don't get to do a lot of comedy in nice clubs like this. I don't. Yeah. A lot of the comedy I do in dive bars, right? Kind of place that might have a urinal trough. You understand. Yeah. If you don't know what a urinal trough is, I'm going to tell you. It's like they found a way to make peeing in public just a little bit more humiliating. Just, hey, all you dudes together right here in this giant bathtub. Don't worry, there's ice in it. It's classy. But I was standing at the urinal trough of one of those clubs the other day, focusing on the task at hand, and this drunk stranger came in, and he kind of stumbled over next to me, and he unzipped, and he slapped me on the back, which is not the order to do that in. And he said to me, "Hey, man, trust me. Trust me. Don't shit in this bar." Couple things, sir. First off, if I'm pooping in a bar, it's probably not by choice. Right? Think it's safe to say something went horribly wrong today. Neither you or I are really in control of the situation here anymore. Second off, not how you start a conversation. Not at all. Bad small talk, right? Right off the bat, don't do that. But I thought about it for a while, and I realized, like, the only thing worse than going up to a complete stranger and going, "Hey, man, don't poop in this bar," would be going up to a complete stranger and going, "Hey, man, poop in this bar. Trust me."
With us this evening, Mr. Robert Fones. Bobby?
Chris?
Can I call you Bob?
Yeah.
Why is it Robert is Rob and Bob?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Thank you. Next question. So what do you hope to get out of this whole thing?
Like millions of dollars.
Good
FX
luck.
show.
Right on. FX show?
Yeah, just like endless respect from everybody.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
No.
That could
Isn't
happen.
that what happens?
Not yet. For me.
Not yet.
No, not for me.
People are bad at small talk. It's not their fault, right? We're just impulsive. Everybody does it. We do it all the time, you know, right? Hey, how are you today? Oh, I'm very good. Hey, it's nice weather we're having. Yeah, it sure is. It's not nice weather, ever. Have you been outside? It's disgusting, all right? It's just ice and bees. That's it. That's the entire year, right down the middle. But I had the worst bit of small talk I've ever had the other day. I was at a buffet, which is not specific to that day, and I like seconds. It's cool. I was standing next to this lady I'd never met before. She had a sandwich on her plate, and at one point, she leaned over to go get more food, and when she did, top half of her sandwich fell off right onto the ground. And that's sad, right? Yeah, if you don't think about anything else that's ever happened, that's sad, sure. But at that point in time, she and I had not interacted, all right? She could have handled that the way I would have handled it. She could have set her plate down. She could have gotten in her car. She could have gone home and just been ashamed forever. Like an adult, right? Instead, she goes, okay, great time to snag a co-starring role in Robert Fones' life. I'm gonna get a little weigh-in here on the sandwich conundrum I'm having. So she looked at me and said, oh, my sandwich. At which point I said, without thinking about it, impulsively, well, miss, that's the good thing about sandwiches. You can always put them back together. What the fuck does that mean? What am I, just fat Forrest Gump now? Am I just wandering through life spouting folksy nonsense about food? Just, oh, that's the nice thing about soup, miss. It's like stew you ain't gotta chew. It's the nice thing about meatballs. It's like spaghetti put a hat on this morning, ma'am. I may not be a smart man, but I know what lunch is.
What do you like to eat
What do I like to eat?
on the road?
When I'm on the road? The best road snack is gas station hot dogs. They're disgusting, but...
Do you have problems with people, like, eating, like, with the sounds? You know, do you have, like... Yeah, like that.
Like that?
That's nasty.
You really? Why are you bothered by that? It's not bad.
This isn't about me, but I am bothered by that.
I'm not bothered by it.
You're not?
No.
Oof, that's weird.
A friend of mine told me his horse died, and I laughed in his face, because that's not a problem. No, it's not a problem you get to have anymore. It's not. I'm sorry. Every other century, sure, a horse dying, that's a problem. This century, no. What, are you one of 8 people in the world that still uses a horse? You're the cast of Deadwood, I don't feel bad for you. Your outdated sign of wealth doesn't work anymore, that's a tragedy. Right? You have to drive the ATV around the plantation this morning? Your crazy jalopy with the horn that goes awooga not start? Oh. I don't care about horses. First off, horses are monsters, right? You ever looked at a horse's mouth? It's garbage. Right? Why do they have teeth like that? They don't need teeth like that. Are they eating bone? If they're eating bone, they can have teeth like that. If it's apples, There's 2 animals you get to care about in this world. I don't care about horses. There's 2 animals you get to love. It's dogs and it's cats. And if you have another animal and you love it, I'm real sorry, it does not love you. At all. And that might sound mean, but if it does sound mean, I want you to go home tonight, open up the cage you hold that animal in, see if it wants to be in your house anymore. No. It'll run away every time. Your ferret is gonna die at a gas station alone and cold, not knowing your name.
So, do you have an album coming out?
No.
Right on. Do you have anything online that people can kind of check out, stand-up wise?
Not really.
Right on. Do you have a website?
Not yet.
Right on. Robert Fones, everybody.
Nice to see everybody. So, apparently, if you put the name of another country in front of the word bakery, some people lose their minds. Have you seen this happen? I could say to a handful of people, there's a Czechoslovakian bakery a couple of blocks down, and somebody will pipe up, are you kidding me? Are they open right now? How come we're not there? I bet they have some of the most amazing pastries I'll ever put inside of my body. Let's go, let's do this, come on. It's like an exotic adventure. But if you put the name of another country in front of the word prison, oh no. Oh, that then becomes the scariest place on the planet. We've all heard some weird old guy say the last place you ever want to find yourself is a Turkish prison. It's because they do all kinds of messed up stuff to you in there. You might not ever get out, and if you do, you walk funny, have nightmares the rest of your life. It's no good. It's no good. You put the name of another country in front of the word prostitute, well, now we're back to awesome again. Right? You ever been with a Brazilian prostitute, sir? Whew. You learn all kinds of new tricks. You might walk funny, have nightmares the rest of your life, but it is worth it. Every dollar. For sure. For sure. That's a fun game you guys can play anywhere. Not the prostitute part, but the maybe. But you think of a name of another country, you put it in front of one of those 3 words, it works every time. Except Canada. Doesn't. What's that? A new Canadian bakery? I will not be going in there. Well, that sounds boring and awful. No, thank you. It's not for me. It's not. Hey, did you hear about Tim? Got locked up in a Canadian prison for a couple of years. Well, that sounds kind of nice. And they have great health care. Sure, he's having a wonderful time. Lucky guy. Lucky guy. Hey, I just got off the phone with the escort service. Turns out the night of the bachelor party, there's only one employee available, a Canadian prostitute. Oh, that sucks. Huh. Guess we're just going to have dinner and call it an early night. I mean, unless you want to hear this all evening. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you ready for your headliner? Are you ready? Folks, you've seen this young gentleman on Last Comic Standing. He is a stand-up records recording artist. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tommy Ryman!
One more time for Chris, everybody, and all the comics you saw tonight. Give a huge round of applause. And your wait staff, too. Take care of them. Make sure to take care of them. Oh, man, what a night. It's good to be here. It's been a crazy couple of days. My lava lamp erupted. I didn't even know they could do that. Did you know they can erupt? It's terrible. I just bought 42 hamsters, too. Wiped them all out. It's insane. It was like a tiny, adorable Pompeii. It was awesome. You could see how some of the hamsters perished, like some were with their loved ones. One was by himself eating a sunflower seed. One was on a wheel, like he thought he was going to get away, but he didn't have a chance. Oh, man. My dad's a goofy guy. Do you guys know my dad? Oh, you should get to know him. He's so goofy. He makes his own kale chips. Have you heard of kale chips? He makes his own. He loves them. He's like, Tommy, you got to try these kale chips. I just made a new batch of kale chips. Once you try these, you're never going to want regular chips ever again because these are so good. So I finally tried one. I was like, oh, no, my dad forgot what chips taste like. This sucks. Now we have to put him in a home. Oh, man. I thought we had to take his keys away first. But gross chips will do that. They're not good, you guys. If you haven't had kale chips, keep up the good work. You're doing so good at life. They're gross. They're basically like somebody left a salad out for 5 days and was like, I made chips. I made chips on the counter. It took 5 days. They're real gross. But they're supposedly good for you, so get in your body. My mom's goofy, too. She's weird. She's a super hippie. She's retired. And I called her a while ago. I was like, hey, Mom, what are you up to? And she's like, I'm activating rivers. I was like, what? I think you just said you were activating rivers. She's like, that's what I'm doing. I was like, that's what I thought you said. What is that? She's like, I get all my crystals out, and I go to the mouth of a river, and I do a little ceremony, and I activate it. I was like, so you work for the city? Or... what does this do? You just activate. I was like, who told you to activate rivers? Who trained you in for river activation? And she's like, I trained myself in. I was like, we're going to put you in a home too. This is not right. And I was like, what happens when you activate a river? How do you know it's activated? Does it change colors or something? They're like, the duck's real happy? Like, oh yeah, that's been activated. For sure. I'm going to swim so fast. And she's like, no, the energy is just good when it's activated. I was like, okay. Sometimes I mess with her, though. Like, I'll call her. I'll be like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm in Missouri. I just activated a river. I'm like, Mom, I already activated that river. You just double activated that river. This is too much power. People are going to die, Mother. You got to get back home. She's weird. She told me she could summon a buffalo. Yeah, she was camping in Yellowstone National Park, and she's like, I summoned a buffalo. I was like that State Farm commercial? You summon a buffalo? I was like, how'd you do this? She's like, I really wanted to see a buffalo. So I put the energy out there that I wanted to see it, and then one showed up. I was like, well, you also were in Yellowstone National Park where all the buffaloes are. I was like, I'd like to see you do that downtown and make a penguin show up too. Because those two don't normally hang out together, and I want to see them hang out. I want the penguin riding the buffalo when it shows up too. Can you do that? You can't do that? That's what I thought. You got to get out there, activate some more rivers. Maybe you can make that buffalo show up downtown with my penguin. Yeah, exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we have Mr. Tommy Ryman.
Hello.
Stand Up Records and beyond. Tommy, what a year it's been for you, comedy-wise. And otherwise, right?
Yeah, it's been a good year. I did a lot of stuff. I got to be on Last Comic Standing, and that was the
How
big
was
thing.
that?
It was fun. I was a semifinalist.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun. Roseanne Barr said she was a fan of mine.
Yep, to your face.
To my face.
That's so awesome, man.
And yeah, I met a lot of great comics, and it was a great experience.
Yep. And that's not it.
What else?
I thought you'd tell me.
I
gotta be
recorded
honest.
a new album.
Yep.
That will be coming out.
Hot lesbo action.
No, it's not called Hot. I think the tentative title is Having the Time of My Life.
Nice.
So
As a follow-up to Bath Time with Tommy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is my second album with Stand Up Records, which I'm super excited to have out, and I think it's going to be better than the last one, and I'm really pumped about it. So,
Killer.
Yeah.
And that was it? I feel like you had a better year than that.
I like animals. Like my wife and I, we just bought a dog recently. We got a dog. We got it from a breeder. People were mad at us. They're like, "You should have got a rescue dog. Why'd you get a brand new one? You should have got a rescue one." But like, I understand where they're coming from. Like, I think it's super nice to have rescue animals. That's a wonderful thing. It's really important. Everybody should do it. Like, in fact, I've had rescue animals my whole life. Like all those hamsters, all 42 of them, they were all rescue hamsters. But I just wanted one fresh animal one time. I was like, just let me have one brand new one time, one that I can mess up and somebody else can rescue it later. So technically, it is still a rescue animal, just not right now. Get it on my face. I got some dog walking to do. But I got a rescue dog. It's a Boston Terrier. My wife dresses it up. I didn't know dogs were supposed to be dressed up in clothes, but my wife was like, "Oh no, they have to have outfits. They have to have a lot of outfits." Like my dog, it has a bizarre amount of clothes, you guys. It does. It has the first thing we bought it was a bee costume, because that's practical. In case my dog was ever swarmed by bees, throw in that bee costume, she's fine. She's incognito. They didn't even see her. They're like, "That's just a giant bee. Carry on." But we bought the bee costume when my dog was 8 weeks old. It's 8 weeks old, and my wife was like, "Let's get the bee costume." And I was like, "Well, maybe we should hold off on the bee costume until she, grows a little more, because she's growing so fast. Right now, we're only be able to enjoy that bee costume for about 4 days." But my wife was like, "But look at the bee costume." And I was like, "Well, when you put it that way, I didn't even think of that. That's a great argument. Get that in the basket." I don't know what I was thinking. I apologize. So we got a bee costume. The other clothes, we have like 15 sweaters for the dog. Whenever she's in a different mood, she can pick one that she wants to wear. We got boots for the dog because we live in Minnesota, so we bought boots because there's snow, which was weird. I didn't know dogs needed boots because I watched a documentary on wolves, you guys. None of them had boots on. Yeah. They're just running around the woods barefoot eating deer. I was like, how are they going to catch that deer without their boots? They got some boots on, then they'll catch some deer. But we got the boots for the dog, which was fun because it only took about an hour and a half to put the boots on her. Which was weird it took so long because it only took her a minute and a half to shoot them off her feet right when she got outside. She's like, "I watched that wolf documentary. I'm not wearing these." We got that. My wife we were going to my wife's cabin. She wanted to get a life jacket for the dog. I was like, they have life jackets for dogs? I was like, "Are we taking her deep sea diving?" I thought we were just going to the lake. And she's like, "No, she needs a life jacket, in case she falls off the boat." And I was like, "Isn't there a swim move named after dogs? Isn't there called the doggy paddle, right? I've heard of it. I'm pretty sure you just put the dog in the water, and then if it doesn't swim, then you just get a new dog on the way home." Because that one wasn't working correctly. But we got it. It has a handle. We got the life jacket. It's fun. You can dip it in the water and take it back out, and then dip it back in, take it back out, and it moves its paws the whole time. It's pretty fun. The last thing we purchased for our dog was goggles. Yeah, goggles. This is a real thing. They're called doggles. Somebody's making a lot of money out there selling goggles for animals, calling them doggles. And I was like, "Why does our dog need goggles? Is she going skydiving?" That's the only reason, unless we're going to put her on a skateboard and she's going to go super fast, then we need to get goggles. Those are the only two examples I could ever think of. My wife was like, "No, she needs a Boston Terrier, so she has those bug eyes, so she needs them for protection in case she ever runs into a door or gets sand in her eyes, or maybe another dog is beating her up for wearing a life jacket. We got to get these goggles." So I was like, "All right, get them. I want to see what this looks like just for fun." So we got the goggles, and we put them on the dog. And they worked, you guys. They really worked because she did not run into any doors, and she didn't get any sand in her eyes, and she also didn't move for 2 hours because she was terrified because she was wearing goggles. If you did that to a cat, it would murder you. It was just like, "Come on, Mittens, get your goggles on." Like, "Slice, you're right. This was a terrible idea. I don't know what I was thinking."
Tommy, you're a seasoned comic. What's the worst road story you got?
The worst heckle I've ever gotten, I was doing a show, and I used to do this act out where I would get up on a stool and be like, now, now, now. You can hear that joke on my first album, Bad Time with Tommy Ryman. It's a bag of thumbs joke. It's really good. But this was like a credit card swiper, but I'd get up on the stool and I was doing this big elaborate act out and the audience wasn't feeling it and they just got dead quiet, and then this lady like in the middle row just goes, "Why don't you go back to comedy school?" And I had never really dealt with like a heckler, so I didn't know what to do, so I just slowly like climbed down the stool. And like now I've come up with so many comebacks. Like I want her to come back someday so I can recreate it. And be like, "Why don't you go back to that school where mean ladies go to be mean?" Or you probably graduated already because you're really good at being mean. Like I can just really nail her with stuff like that.
You really come a long way.
But yeah, I like being married. My wife, she loves cuddling. She loves cuddling, which is fun. I like cuddling. She's like an aggressive cuddler. Like he gets weird sometimes. Like I'm pretty good at it. I'm a little bony. Like I show up though, put on a couple extra 2 or 3 sweaters. We're good to go. But she's really aggressive. Like I'll come home and she'll be like, "You want to cuddle me?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not really feeling like it right now." She's like, "Get her here now." I'm like, "All right. I got some spooning in me. Let's do this. Let's take care of business." She loves cuddling, though. I just wish there was a place women could go sometimes to get cuddling out of their system so you could get right to the good stuff. I think that would be nice. Like kind of like a strip club, but opposite, just for cuddling. So women could pay like $20 and some guy would just put his arm around her for like 2 songs, right? That'd be great. Or here you go, pay $75, go upstairs to the real fancy room where some guy will spoon you and you can cry about something stupid. Yeah. This is a really good idea. I'm gonna make $1,000. My wife doesn't like that joke. I think it's a really good joke. It's called Cuddles. Your next cuddler just got off the phone with his mom. You wanna buy your cuddler a hot chocolate? Come on, it's only $20.
So, Tommy, such a fantastic year. You've been on television. Has that affected you in any way?
The television, it's been a great experience. My family finally respects what I'm doing because they've always been wondering where are you going? And now there's proof on television. They can be like, "Oh, that's what he does. We see it." My mom's always been pretty supportive, but she was a musician herself, so she was just always amazed that people would put me up in a hotel because she was a folk musician. And I was like, "I think you chose the least lucrative musician rock star you could be." So
that's the purest art form.
But yeah, it's been good. My wife is proud of me. She'll pick up all the when I call her, she always answers normally now instead of screening it like she used to. Yeah. But and then my dog respects. He sits more often, and Olive they bring me treats and stuff. So I feel like it's been an overall positive experience from everybody in my life.
What kind of treats they bring you?
They're like a dead rat, whatever dog would bring you. They bring me that.
It's a thought that counts, even if it's a dog thought.
Yeah. Tommy
Ryman, ladies and gentlemen.
When my wife and I first moved in together, she wanted a rat for a pet. She wanted a rat, which I didn't know people had those for pets. I thought they just lived in sewers and hung out with turtles. But she was like, "Nope, we got to bring one in and love it." I was like, "Okay." I love my wife, so I was like, "If you want to get a rat, we can get a rat." And so we went to the Humane Society and we bought a rat. Here's some advice if you're ever going to do any rat purchasing in your future. You definitely want to go new on the rat. This is the one time you can't go rescue. You got to go new. Pay the extra $3 to get a brand new rat. Because we bought a used elderly senior citizen rat. And rats only live 2 to 3 years anyways. So this thing lived 3 months and it died. It died in my wife's hands. She was in the living room. I was in the kitchen making grilled cheese, having the time of my life. When from the other room, I just heard deep sadness that I'd never heard before. Real guttural, I was like, she needs to go to Cuddles. Something's going on. And I was like, maybe she's watching a sad movie or something. So I walked into the room and she was just holding a dead rat in her hands. And I felt really bad because that was her buddy and her friend. But at the same time, I was like, we need to get that dead rat out of your hands as soon as possible. Because I'm pretty sure that's what took Europe out. I read about that. Yeah, that did not end well for them, and it should not be in our living room. So we took the rat and we put it in a shoebox and double bagged it in some Target bags and put it on the deck. I was like, "What do you want to do with the rat?" And she's like, "I would like to bury it." But it was February in Minnesota, so I was like, "Have fun with that." I was like, "What are our other options?" And she's like, "Maybe we could cremate the rat." And I was like, "Okay, I've never done that. I just made the grilled cheese. We could try it." And she was like, no, professionally. I was like, that makes more sense. That makes way more sense. We should pay somebody to do this. And we looked into it. There's places that are rat cremation places. I'm pretty sure they're the same places that sell doggles. But we looked into it, and it was going to cost $100 to cremate the rat, which exceeded our rat cremation budget by $100. So we couldn't do that. So we just had a dead rat on our deck for a couple days, which was kind of like a visitation for the neighborhood animals to say their goodbye, like the dogs and cats. And my wife came home and we're like, we need to figure out what we're going to do with this guy. So what we decided to do was just drive around the city until we found the most beautiful spot that had a garbage can. And we said some beautiful words and we laid Lex Luthor to rest. So he was by a really pretty lake for at least a day, and then he was carted off to a giant landfill. And then when we thought about it, like, that's where he would have wanted to be the whole damn time. Because rats love garbage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You like that? How about that? Oh, how about that? Oh, yeah. That's so ridiculous. Statistically, though, there's at least one couple here tonight that's going to go home after the show and have a little hanky-panky, and one of you will whisper in the other person's ear, oh, yeah, how about that? Yeah, and you'll giggle, and then you'll both remember what I look like and throw up in your mouths a little bit. Or climax immediately. I don't know what you're into.